Good morning. It's 10:09 a.m. It is Wednesday, August 6th, and I am getting ready to start my day now. I have been getting up the last few days, and it's been taking me a while because I will say I've expressed my feeling of negativity, wanting to no, really, I don't, how can I say this? I am not looking forward to interacting with people. Okay, like I've talked about this before, and for the last few days, I've been debating whether I should go to the library. I know I need to get things done. I mean, obviously I do. Okay, but like I said, I've worked with some of the most unprofessional people that I honestly, I want more control over who I interact with. Now, a lot of people who know me have been following me on Facebook and have been following me on my social media. I'm referring to YouTube. This particular channel, the Maria Gordon, okay, have known that for the last 10 years I've been making videos. I've come to realize, what was exactly behind all of this. And I still deal with the mental disturbance of what I experienced. So this prompted me to create Go, okay? Because unfortunately, I was a part of a human trafficking ring that I would have never agreed to being a part of. And this is another issue that prompted me to make this issue. Prompted me to make my video, Human Targets, which I am I've created as a fundraiser, okay, to make money so that I can move out of this community and go back to my hometown. Now, the last few days, I just been, going through a lot of dark thoughts relating to my anger of, my projects being exploited and misappropriated and credited and possibly monetized towards other people who had no right to touch my things. Okay, the only reason why they thought that they had the right to touch it is because they felt as though I was someone who didn't matter. Okay, and they also looked at me like I was in a negative way because I was not associated with the church. Now we've also, and in this course of time, we've talked about things like burden babies. We now understand that I had nothing to do with this, and that yes, I should be entitled to some sort of compensation. Which, of course, these evil people are never going to cough this sort of stuff up. Okay, the message I'm getting is some of the people that were a part of this particular celebrity soul tribe, uh, when I say soulmates, that does not mean or imply that they were of romantic nature. Some soulmates are going to be in your life because they are also incarnated at the same time. Okay, like for example, me and Donald Trump could have lived together. I could have obviously CB Braganza lived in the 1930s and stuff like that. Okay, let's just say I'm using a Donald Trump as an example. Donald Trump could have been somebody else at another time. Okay. Then I also include some of the celebrities. Some of these people, like I said, they could have been, some well known celebrities at that time, and then they come back at a certain whatever other time. So it's repeated past life tough stuff. Okay. Just because we were together in past lives does not give anyone any entitlement towards my things. Okay, because they know me as someone who is, comes up with the ideas, and the unfortunate part is that they take advantage of my projects, and that leaves me in a position of struggling. Okay, and this is something that has disturbed me. Okay, there's things that I put hours into, like for example, my Ko-fi and my Patreon accounts. Okay, those videos that I made, which I had every right to make, that was my money. That was my money. Okay, that this particular Christian group of people, decided to take for themselves because they are under the impression that somehow they're blessed. No, I will tell you that they are the cursed people. They are the wicked people. They are the most wicked people I have ever known. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I have so many mental problems, because unfortunately I was associated with a group of people that I would have never given my consent to belong to. Okay, so I understand that, people realize that this issue is wrong. Okay, but like I said, it's a little too late. Meaning, like the damage is already done. It's affected me mentally. It affects me emotionally. It affects, and I have to get things rolling. You know what I mean? I understand that. So, like the last few days, because I was coming to the realization that all of my projects have not been handled correctly. They should have never been handled. I'm going to tell you again, okay? And this makes me very angry. Do not ever touch my projects. Ever. Not one of them. They do not belong to you. And this should be basic information that other people should know. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is people are talking about MK Ultra, and yes, I'm correct that celebrities were brainwashed. Okay, okay. At this point, I want to tell you, I understand. Even MK Ultra. Okay, when MK Ultra was introduced, before MK Ultra even had a name. Okay, people have always been putting on mind control and trying to get to work evil undercover, to do sneaky things, to try to manipulate or distort realities. Okay, this is how people gain power. Okay, so these people, it's the same thing. Each lifetime we live or whatever, people have deceptive practices. It's been going on forever. Okay, now we're at a point right now where people are becoming, the truth is becoming unraveled. Okay, there was a time where people didn't comfortably talk about aliens. They didn't talk about things like cloning openly, and I know the church didn't, encourage people talking about these sort of things openly. At least not people who were outside of their congregations. Now people are just talking about this stuff out in the open. Okay, people are starting to realize that a lot of things that they believed in for a long time have been lies or distorted truths, or they had some sort of angle as to why they allowed the majority of people to walk around with these sort of beliefs in their head. And see, I've known for a long time that, the majority of things that we hear and a lot of things that people actually believe in are lies, okay? So that I made it very clear that I wanted nothing to do with mainstream thinking, okay? So what happens is I had a bunch of people trying to forcibly put this on me through this trafficking network. I am absolutely disturbed and I'm angry, okay? I'm an American citizen, okay? And that means that, I cherish my freedom. Okay, and when some people say freedom, they think, oh, that means rebellious. No, everything I do is well within my rights to do. Okay, everything. Now, you may have a different religion, you may have a different outlook on things, and that's your choice. You can choose to live your life the way that you do, but I have every right to live my life the way I do want to as well. Okay, so yes, people were wrong to do this. Okay, and I understand. I've always known just because the majority believes something doesn't mean it's right, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people felt like, oh, I can go ahead and do this, or I can be a part of this. I don't have to feel bad about it because and so who has a title, and this is they're doing it too. This is one of the most deceptive things that people always fall into. And this is one of the reasons why, mind control programs, things like genocide has been able to accomplish its goals throughout the years, okay, is this sort of mentality, okay? Yes, I believe in questioning authority, okay? Um, I also get the message that I am making an impact, the biggest impact, by who I am, okay? So there's a lot of people who are, you know, believe that I should stay who I am. Number one, I'm a black woman, okay, who was brought into a targeting program that I had no knowledge of. Okay, it was my responsibility to figure out why I was dealing with irrational people. Okay, so these people were willing to take out all their anger on me when I had no idea what anything was going on. Okay, a lot of it had to do with the fact that my clothes and everything. Yes, the people here in this community are different than me. Guess what? They are white. Okay, they have a completely different viewpoint than me. They see things differently. I am not converting to being a white person. I am who I am. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is that there are businesses that want to connect to. People are waiting for me to make my announcement. Okay, I have been slow on making my announcement because everything that I have all my revelations, little by little, that become unfolded, start to happen. And when they start happening, I have to take time to, uh, process that. Okay, so now I come to understand that Elon Musk, okay, in the last few days, Elon Musk is not, he's not just a targeted individual, okay? He is somebody who, whether he wanted to or not, okay, was acting against my will, okay? Which means that, I'm sitting here like I'm thinking, okay, that means my Ko-fi, my Patreon, as well as my precious newsletter has not been, managed correctly, and it was not his responsibility to manage it. So I will tell you this, and then I get this intuitive message because there's some sort of familiarity of past lives. That is not justification for people to touch my things. Okay? If it doesn't have your name on it, okay, legally, if it doesn't have your name on it, or you're not a co-signer on it legally with your name on it, and two parties understand the transaction, you are doing something that is against the law. Okay, so that means that while I was going into poverty, my money was being filtered into other people's pockets. That's bullshit. And then you're going to give me shitty jobs, okay, and put me in a carpool, and it does not equate. Okay, I don't know why people think that this is fair and just, but it's not. Here's the thing. I work for myself, okay? And I want to make it very clear because this is what I've been am extremely anxiety and just consumed with anxiety about. I have when I dealt with my Patreon and my Ko-fi issue, I made it very clear, okay, that I am not interested in being married. I'm somebody who has to take care of myself, okay? And then I come to find out that throughout all this time after that I was already stolen from, that Elon Musk was manipulating my as well as the Ross family, and of course, all these other people were manipulating my newsletter. These people are nothing but thieves. Okay, they're thieves, they're low life scums. Okay, and I don't care how many times they've known me, how many times they've seen me. I don't care if I came out of Diana Ross's womb. She is not legally entitled to any of my things. Okay, especially over the fact that I'm 54 years old. Okay, nobody touches my things. Okay, so the message I'm getting right now has something to do with my father's apparition. You can be my fan because of my father's apparition. Okay, but you do not own access to my father. Okay, these people. I mean, the sad part about me being being forced into this network. Okay, is these celebrity people. Okay, are very ignorant people. Okay, and I'm somebody who you know believes in having full understanding of things that I participate in. Okay, and so these people are not meant for me to be around. Okay, I do not want to have business dealings with these people. And I made that very clear. I've made it clear about me not being Diana Ross's legal whatever, and still the community still worked in and did something that was against me. And I don't forgive that. I don't forgive it. So I've been paying attention, like I've been saying, I've dealt with some people who have been providing decent customer service or whatever. I'm not responsible for other people's problems. Okay. So I'm not looking forward to meeting people. Like I would prefer to work outside. I mean, like do remote jobs in different communities. My goal is to get back to Lancaster. Okay. But I am, this particular project, I know I'm working on the Human Targets project, which I am really advertising it to everyone, okay? But what I am specifically mentioning is these particular industries that claim to be focusing their training on human trafficking, when in the fact, we know that human trafficking is just about in every industry, okay? So I'm clearing up some of these misconceptions, okay? Because I feel like people really need to know exactly where these issues occur, okay? I understand that there's a human trafficking network where it's doing every. See, this is what angers me so much. Elon Musk, Diana Ross, all these people who were involved in my targeting. Okay, were trying to bring up reasons as to why I can't do this. This was their excuse to try to control me. They had no legal right to touch anything that belonged to me at all. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I hate things like CEO code culture. Okay, a CEO of a company is exactly that. It's a CEO of a company. It is not the CEO of the United States, of the world. I can tell this person what to do. I mean, some people really got on this big high horse trip, kind of like the Brady Bunch episode where Bobby became the hall monitor. This is the kind of that's the analogy that I use. Okay, I'm absolutely sick of it. I don't like anything relating to the CEO culture. I've seen it like on YouTube and all these other people. I really cannot stand that stuff. Okay, and when I think about how it violates, a lot of the laws that are already written, I have never had any favor of that. I do not believe in the corporate structure. I believe it's just to me corrupt. Okay, and obviously it's highly influenced by Christian ideology. What else do I want to talk about? So yes, I understand that Elon Musk was responsible, and he was in violation of the RICO Act. Okay, he was ignorant of absolutely everything. Now, like I said, Elon Musk to me is a fairly new person, meaning like, okay, I stopped watching TV like constantly. Okay, because when I was younger, I used to watch TV. Okay, and there were times where like for example, I would come home and I would sit on the floor and I would watch like things like Donahue and Oprah Winfrey. This is like my teenage years. Okay. And then, after that, I would watch old episodes of like Little House on the Prairie, okay? And then after that, because I used to watch Little House on the Prairie since I was a kid, all the way to my teenage years, okay? And I was addicted to that show. And I would watch it even though I watched the reruns, okay? And then I would watch TV shows that would, like, come on after that. And the only reason why I would watch it is because I used to watch shows like What's Happening too, and then reruns of like certain Norman Lear type TV shows that were created, whatever. Throughout the years, I lost interest in television. Okay, so there's a lot of celebrities that have come out, and I know people like Beyonce a little bit. I can't tell you every song that she sings. I understand people like Taylor Swift. I understand newer celebrities, but I'm not as engrossed in them or knowledgeable about them because I kind of dropped out of society like in the late 1990s. Why? Because I just could not find anything to entertain me. Okay. So Elon Musk is a fairly new character to me. I just recently took notice of him about 5 years ago. And even then, I wasn't really specifically honed on him. So I do believe that he was a part of my trafficking all the way going back to sometime around 2000 to 2010, okay? Which is right around the time that I started working at Murray Family Farms, okay? And all this time, at that time, I did not know who Elon Musk was. I had no idea. I think I think in the message I'm getting is it had something to do with my father's apparition. Okay, I did notice when I started watching Elon Musk a little bit closer, and the reason why is because I started to realize in 2023 that I was associated with the Celebrity Soul Tribe, meaning the people that were clones too. That's why I call them a soul tribe. That doesn't mean that they're people I trust. It doesn't mean that we're best friends. I'm just saying as our journeys are similar, okay, and possibly overlapped, okay. So then 2023, I realized that I was the daughter of Diana Ross, which of course this is how the cloning process. I'm associated with these other people. At least they know of me, okay. So that was fine. So anyway, at least I thought it was okay. It's really not cool because these celebrities are not really up to par. Okay. What I mean by that is I feel as though they're too intrusive and they've caused me a lot of problems. Okay. So anyway, I started thinking, okay, I got this intuitive message back in January that Elon Musk had something to do, or he was hoovering, meaning like he was around in some way. I've never met him in person. So I remember making a bracelet because I figured, okay, I want this person to communicate with me. And like within a few days, I had somebody communicate with me by the name of Elon Musk. Was that him or not? I don't know. I mean, I've had communicated with Elon Musk several times, okay, or somebody who claims that they were Elon Musk, okay. And I don't want to know, okay. My point is, I am not communicating with people who reach out to me anymore, for at all, okay. I want complete control over my social media and communications. I'm saying this, and I'm mentioning Donald Trump in this, is because uh, is because I don't want to be stuck dealing with people asking me for money and all this other stuff. And I know I've dealt with this a lot with a lot of celebrities. Okay, and then also, I was shadow banned on social media, meaning I was stuck within this particular network, being connected with people who were associated with these network people. And it's just like, you know what? This is the darkest cloud that hangs over my head. I am not happy. And this is one of the reasons why I talked about me breaking free of the human trafficking network. And it's time for me to branch out on my own. I have developed Go, and I'm getting on social media. Yes, I am using Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, okay? I could not think of any other ones. I researched some, like things like Snapchat. It seems as though that's an age group that would not be within my age limit. Meaning, a lot of people who use Snapchat are like between the ages of 18, possibly 30. Okay, which means they use it for light and fun stuff. I'm trying out Twitter. And I only signed up as a personal account. I'm going to see how it goes when it comes to connections, and then I will convert my account over to a company account. Okay, I understand that I do not want to on this particular thing. This is all related to business. I want to communicate with companies. Okay, which means on this Twitter account, I am not quite trying to not trying to communicate with celebrities. Okay, I'm not trying to communicate with celebrities. I'm trying to communicate with companies like business owners, companies of business, people who own businesses and that sort of stuff. Okay, the message I got when I was mentioning Donald Trump earlier is because okay, I do believe that Donald Trump recognized me as a an important person. I don't know. I didn't hear it. I was not aware of it, but I want to say thank you. Okay, but I also get the intuitive message that a lot of times people get exploited. Okay, it's really important that I have my autonomy at this point. Okay, I just left a trafficking network. Okay, that was extremely abusive to me, trying to limit in my life and make basically destroy everything I care about. Wanting me to change my religion, wanting me to change the way that I look, wanted me to change the way. This is not who I am. Okay, and then not only did they have their little differences, they actually put it into place, like by blacklisting and shadow banning, which is against the law. I have the right to be who I am. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is that people are acknowledging the fact that I revealed the Christians' hidden lie regarding the cloning and the human trafficking. Okay, and it's unfortunate that it had to go this far, but in some ways it's a blessing because this secret has been kept for centuries. Okay, and it has harmed a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people. Okay. But what it's important for me to understand is that I am breaking away from celebrities, especially when it comes to Gordon's occupational engineering, for the specific purpose that I am here for business. Okay. And unfortunately, from what I've seen in these celebrity trafficking rings, the only reason why celebrities want to help you get a job is because some of these celebrities are very desperate and they're hoping that you'll marry them. Okay, and it's like I'm not attaching my work to marriage. Okay, that is against the law. Okay, and I'm tired of people making me feel threatened or trying to bully me into some sort of lifestyle. I do not want to have any sort of relationship, or I do not want to have any sort of life connected to celebrities. Okay, and nor have I ever as an adult. Now, when I was little, I used to think about people who I would see in like my teenage magazines, and I would think, "Wow, they got a cool life." As an adult, I realize there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Okay, and I've never taken an interest in delving into the celebrity world. Okay, and then also, I do resent the fact that a lot of people illegally practice this whole idea of setting up jobs with the point of getting married. Not with just celebrities. Okay, you'll get this guy who wants to help a girl get a job and all this other stuff, and their goal is because they want to somehow get married to this person or whatever. It is these sort of things, okay, that is very threatening to somebody who has been a victim of bloodline targeting their entire life. Okay, putting you in positions of where you're backed up against the wall, against and being threatened by the possibility of having to couple with somebody who's very likely to abuse you. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I resented the way that the employers were, breaking laws and bending rules and acting like it didn't matter. It matters. Okay, it's life threatening. Okay, look at me. I mean, people think that oh, I'm a nice looking woman. No, I mean, I'm not beautiful like Beyonce, but I obviously take care of myself. And the reason why I do is because clothes and things like that are the only thing I have to care about. I don't have anything in my life to care about at all. Okay, at all. Okay, so yes, I fly solo. This chick flies solo. I have always flown solo. I believe in flying solo. And the reason why is because I know I cannot trust people. Okay, and I get tired of people who minimize that. I've said this so many times, and the community assisted Elon Musk in trying to force me into a marital situation with these people. And I'm disturbed by it. And I cannot forgive it. I cannot forgive it. Okay. The message I get is I understand that my father appears as how he did when how I was younger. Okay, I have not seen my father's apparition walking around, but you know what? I understand that I need that sort of protection. I had everyone in this community turned against me. Okay, erroneously. Okay, threatening my life, disregarding me, and you know what? I was provided assistance by God. Thank you. Okay, people do believe that I'm making an impact. Okay, because there's a lot of single women. who work, okay? But see, the thing is, what makes my story interesting is because I'm a single woman who obviously takes care of myself. It proves some points, okay? Number one, I take care of myself for me. It has nothing to do with male attraction or anything. It's about me seeing the importance of, keeping my mood elevated, keeping myself, my mood elevated, keeping myself motivated. And I see the importance of that. That's the only reason why I've ever cared about clothes, okay? And when people want to question that and put it to the test and they think it's okay to waste my time, I've wasted 12 years of my life in a trafficking program, okay? With somebody interrupting my quality of life as American citizen, I am absolutely beyond angry, okay? As if I have time to waste. When you take my word for it, okay, it's my life, it's my life journey, and you have these people who think it's okay to play games and waste my time, and they wasted 12 years of my life in this program. But they're blacklisting, they're shadow banning, and yes, Elon Musk and his family and his children deserve to die. They deserved to die, every single last one of them. It got me thinking about, my research in, the importance of the intimate bonding of natural birth. Okay. And I know this is going to shock a lot of people. One of the reasons why I don't believe in cloning, and obviously the reason why I'm a loving being is because I've come out of heaven. My first incarnation was actually me literally being here on the earth. With the discovery of that, then they decided to continually clone me. I come directly from heaven. Okay, which means that I have a loving quality, meaning that I'm able to have empathy. I can care. Okay, when it comes to the creation of humans, okay, they've done studies on this about the natural formulation of the maternal bond and how it affects people and how they grow. Okay, now the reason is because why I feel as though his kids were on the path of becoming sociopaths or psychopaths, and possibly Elon Musk could be a socio or psychopath or combination of both. Why? Because these people do, and they do not have the natural bonding of that sort of mother relationship. Yes, it's important to have, like breastfeeding, cuddling, coddling your child, having the skin on skin contact does matter in the formulation process of your emotional stability. Okay, these kids are monsters, period. Okay, that it is what it is. Okay, and I'm that's one of the reasons why I do not believe in cloning. I do not believe it. I think it can create monsters. Now, like I said, the reason why I am loving and because I was created this way. This is who I am directly from the divine. Okay, but when it comes to creating people, yes, I believe in natural birth. Okay, and if you cannot provide natural birth, it is important that somehow, some way, they get the emotional nourishment. These kids were created for no other reason, just to be created. Okay, with no natural maternal bond. Okay, which means, like I said, this is the formulation of people who do heinous acts because they are not able to feel. So I don't believe that Elon Musk's children were good kids. Okay, and like I said, it is what it is. Okay, no, I do not have any compassion for them. Okay, I do not believe in cloning, even though I was cloned. Okay, and like I said, the only reason why I'm able to love and have empathy, okay, and meaning like I try to understand why and where people are coming from. Okay, I try to I sympathize with people. I don't like to see suffering. Okay, but it seems like certain people within these groups, like these celebrities, some of these celebrities, it seems as though I've told these people don't get involved in my stuff, but they did it anyway. Okay, and the reason why is because they lack empathy. Okay, why? Because I believe it's because they were cloned. Okay, I'm very careful. I believe Charles Manson was cloned. I believe he was a clone. This is one of my biggest interests in him and his interactions with some of these celebrities that he had in the 1960s. I used to wonder, like, okay, how in the world does he have connections to people like the Beach Boys and the Beatles? Unless, of course, he's one of them. He's a clone. And this is what makes people unified with, or they believe makes them unified, okay? Because I kept thinking, how in the world does Charles Manson have the ability to just walk in these, like, how does he have the flexibility to do that? Because he's a clone. Okay, and look, I mean, and I don't believe that Charles Manson was directly responsible for killing all these people, but he certainly didn't show any empathy either. So I'm just letting you know, I believe that cloning under certain conditions can create monsters. Okay, And yes, people are starting to realize, yes, the occult derived from religion. Religion is created by man, and man always desires to have power. And yes, man will do outrageous things to gain it, including creating clones. Okay? So, yes, religion at this point is out of line. And I'm just one of these people who's brave enough to say it. The reason why a lot of people are afraid to say it is because religion has its way of trying to keep people in line, including blacklisting, shadow banning, community harassment, get bus, let me not pick this person. They have their ways of doing it. Let me tell you something, what they do is illegal. It's called religious abuse. Okay? And it is. So, anyway, and I can recognize it, and I'm not falling for it. I'm standing up against it. I'm tired of it. Okay, I don't want anything to do with Elon Musk or his children. I do believe, I don't know if they're dead or alive or whatever. I don't care. Okay, I don't want. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of these celebrities. I want to continue to have respect for these celebrities. It's time for me to step out on my way. Meaning, the goal for me to survive is to be able to work and interact with other companies. Okay, and I also want to connect with other targeted individuals too. But right now, I need to be able to have communication with companies. I am looking for business owners, or people who have decision making powers within their company. I do not want people matchmaking me, putting me in relationships that I do not want to be in. Okay, there's reasons why that stuff's illegal. Okay, you're trying to force people into marriages. Okay, and I would never consent to that. Okay, for my own protection. All right. So anyway, yes, people are acknowledging me as the Egyptian female Messiah. Okay. Yes, the Bible was written and taken. A lot of things written in the Bible were taken from different holy texts. Okay. That doesn't mean that I should have no regard for them. I'm just saying is a lot of the things that are built in the Christian religion. You can tell right now Christianity is being very exposed. Okay. Yes, they play a big role in the cloning process. That means that the other group of people, like these scientists and all these other people, okay, who create these clones, the church assisted these people in, like, creating the isolating environments for them, creating the harsh and the abuse on these people, on these targeted people, by communicating negative information about them in their meetings and stuff like that. So they've played a huge role in it. Okay, and like I said, it is important. I don't believe in unnatural births like that. Okay, I do believe it's the making of psychopaths. Okay, I look at the whole religious issue of this collaboration of the cloning thing. You know how they talk about like demons and hell and stuff like this. I look at these people as the operative functions of that. Like, these people are the demons, and these people are the devils. Okay, and these people are just, it's weird to me. The whole thing is very bizarre. Okay, but that's what it is, basically. Okay, and it's deceptive. Okay, because so many people have always believed Christian equal good, Christian equal good. No, it does not. Open your eyes. Okay, anyway. People are also recognizing, after me talking about this issue for the last 10 years, finally it's understood that it's 100% illegal. It's an illegal crime syndicate. Going all the way back. All the way back. They never had any license to do this sort of stuff. They never had any legal right to do this sort of stuff. But it was, people turned a blind eye to it. You know why? Because sometimes important people's names were involved in it or whatever. It's illegal. All of it. Okay, so now we're here at the present day, and I just got done finding out that my newsletter has been either modified or whatever, or yes, there has been, like, this orchestrated effort to the trafficking network was trying to keep me in a box, to continually keep me isolated by preventing people from talking to me, keeping me shadow banned, telling people not to communicate with me. I will tell you that is wrong. They did this to keep me out of and being able to manage my own affairs, and hopefully trying to traffic me into marrying one of them or whatever. I am not ever going to do that. Okay, I am stepping out of the human trafficking ring. I am leaving celebrities behind. I want nothing to do with celebrities. Okay, I got some of these people I'm friends with on Facebook. Okay, fine. Okay, we're friends on Facebook. Okay, but I'm not going to be friends with you on Instagram or anything else. Okay, why? Like I said, I am trying to get myself established. Okay, and it's really hard to do. Okay, I do not need the interference of celebrities or people talking about getting me married off to somebody. No, I need to feel safe. Okay, and this is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to conduct business this way. It's very unfortunate that these people got in and distorted and started ignoring, employee guideline, uh, laws and all this other stuff. Okay, it puts people like me in vulnerable situations, and it's vulnerability is what makes people targets in the first place. Okay, so this community was literally robbed a woman of my assets. Okay, and so I'm supposed to go out in public and respect these people? Give me a break. Give me a break, really. Okay, so I'm as polite as I possibly can be. You know what I mean? But the respect is just not there. Okay, rightfully so. Okay, I'm just terrified that people would actually do something like that. Do not fall for the fact that just because a person's a celebrity that gives them the right to do anything. I will tell you, and it needs to be understood. Okay, and this is no affection to offense to the celebrities that I do still want to respect. Okay, it's unfortunate, but the fact is that these celebrities are very ignorant people. Okay, they are not aware of the law, and a lot of things that they do is illegal. Okay, including trafficking. I don't know who R. Kelly is personally. Okay, he's another modern day celebrity that is, but I know just recently people talked about him being associated with human trafficking. The reason why is because these celebrities are highly connected to human trafficking, mainly because of their ignorance, and a lot of it has to do with them being brainwashed through their religion. Be very careful and do not. I mean, people need to know this. They need to know this. There is not enough information that can be communicated when it comes to human trafficking. And yeah, just because the celebrity thing is something people need to understand. People hear people's name like, "Oh my gosh, Elon Musk. He's a celebrity. He's a big guy." Okay, I know a lot of people don't think very highly of him anymore. Okay, but there was a time when they did, especially around those years, those bracket years that I had talked about. Okay, those are the years that I had really no knowledge of him. The only reason why I know of him at that time is because I've seen old footage of him just recently during that time period, and there was a lot of this amazement about who he is. Now I know that he's lost favor um, with a lot of people in the last few months. Okay, and it pretty much started becoming undone, I would say, last autumn. Okay, and I know he spent time in the White House. I already told people how I felt about him being in the White House. Understanding the fact that a lot of clones do not have the understanding of, you know, working with money, understanding how money works. I was a little, I get queasy thinking about that, like literally. Because, like I said, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to pay attention to politics, because it makes people like me scared. Knowing that people could, have access, like the Doge thing, he had access to people's files. I mean, that kind of bothers me. But anyway, hang on a second. Okay, yeah, I was feeling a little noise out there. I don't know if that was on purpose or what. When you're dealing with your target individual, sometimes people create news campaigns. I don't know if that was all a coincidence or what. But yes, that was my concern. Okay, and so things like human targeting and trafficking, it's becoming more common. And I know that I had talked about it when I first made my channel. A lot of people were not really believing it; they were not on board. Apparently, that seems about right around the time that it started to human trafficking started to becoming more picked up. It's been going on for quite a while, okay? But there's been a lot of reports of like people going to doctors and stuff like that, and doctors dismissing, people's problems and acting like, and this is the reason why they were dismissing it is because these doctors were participating in it. Okay, there has been a religious war that has been working within society for a very long time, okay? And the religious war is not justified. It's not based on, being a righteous person, upholding, higher standards, meaning like, peace promotion or anything. It's literally about people wanting to have power, control, and religion tends to value your financial status more than it does anything. This is one of the reasons why I do not believe in religion. Okay, I respect the divine. There is no price you can put on it. You cannot put a price on it. And I think this is one of the reasons why the religions were after me. Okay, they were trying to bully me because they obviously wanted me to conform to what. To me, it's like I listen to God or the divine. Okay, and I don't believe that at the time. Now, I don't know what's going on in churches now. I do get the intuitive message that a lot of the churches are realizing that they were wrong, and I do believe that a lot of people are incorporating some positive things inside of their churches. I will never be part of organized religion, just to let you know. That does not mean to say that there might not be a time where, because, like the Catholic Church in Lancaster, I know that I've had a kid that told me when I was growing up how beautiful it looks during Christmas time. Okay, and they said that the mass was very beautiful. And see, I am not Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I'm not any religion. Okay, but there's some of their music is very spiritual. Okay, I do believe that there's a history behind why they have those like high pitched noises and stuff, the sounds and stuff like that. And I believe that they're trying. Originally, it was meant to imitate the sounds of heaven. I find it fascinating. Okay, so I've been putting it on my to do list to go to Lancaster, the church in Lancaster, to see a mass. You know what I mean? But do I want to be a Catholic? No. You know what I mean? I am not somebody I'm not built to, follow the instructions of man. I'm not one of those people. Okay, the reason why is because I've been given a divine calling. That's why. And I understand that. You know what I mean? What else? The message I'm getting is that yes, I'm creating my channel. I did create my YouTube channel, and I lagged on my announcement of everything. I lagged on also not just my announcement that I was going to make last week, and I also lagged on finishing my project, which is why I'm going to the library today. A lot of it was because I was dealing with a lot of mental anguish. I was dealing with a lot of anger of being stolen from. I was dealing with anger of the irrational position that I've been in. Okay, and me coming to understand that I cannot trust anyone. I already know that. Okay, but I was given Elon Musk the benefit of the doubt. But like I said, Elon was a victim as well as a perpetrator. Okay, like I said, he was a church slave. Okay, even though his stance, his white supremacist stance, made absolutely no sense, he took that stance on anyway because he had no choice to. Like literally, I when you look at Elon Musk, he's not a respectable person in any way. Okay, but I feel sorry for him, and to me, living a life where people pity you is not worth living. Okay, like I said before, I know this sounds harsh. He should have never been created, nor should his monstrous children. And like I said, I will always keep my stance on, the importance of nurturing children and the reason why a lot of clones, to me could very well be social or psychopaths because they do not have a nurturing environment. And that's how I feel. And no, I am not one of those people. Like I said, I came directly out of the heavens. I am a direct connection of the divine. And this is one of the reasons why I do have love. I can love, okay? But I also understand I cannot love with just anyone, okay? I have tried to give my care and concern to several people throughout my life, and I've only had a knife stuck in my back. I do understand that I have a different, viewpoint, okay? And unfortunately, we live in hell. We live in hell, okay? And a lot of people are likely to abuse you, okay? And I'm aware of this, so I need to protect myself. So this is one of the reasons why I addressed Donald Trump. I'm setting my sights on this new venture. I do need to meet new people. I'm walking away from a trafficking network that consisted of celebrities that included Elon Musk and just a bunch of abusive people. Okay, so I'm literally going out into a world where I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone. Okay, so I'm trying to do the best I can. Okay, so and it's important that I clear this up. Like I said, I've said it before, and then these celebrities still and the community still were operating in a way where it was like, okay, they were still undermining what I said. I think it's very clear now that it is an illegal operation. It is completely illegal. Okay, and I am not to be prevented from being able to make a living. My attempts of making a living is no way in any way trying to merge forces with anyone. I'm not being rebellious by saying I don't want to get married. I am not going to let myself be abused and exploited. And that's exactly what the human trafficking network was. Okay. Okay. I don't believe in marriage. You know, I am not a gold digger. Okay. I am not a gold digger. And I've said this before. I used to listen to fairy tales when I was a kid, you know, about, you know, the prince falling in love with the princess. And they would talk about, you know, I always wanted it to be where he fell in love with, or they fell in love with the person when they were poor, not when they were married, when they were rich, okay? Because I understood that money, a lot of times people are you know, driven to marry for money. And then a lot of these rich people, they seem surprised when their spouse, you know, makes attempts at their life. Like, you know, the reason they have these huge life insurance policies, and they're surprised that their spouse is trying to take them out. You know, like, no shit. The reason he married you for your money in the first place, okay? So I understand, you know, people want to exploit or use people for their money. I am not the kind of person that I would never want you to do that to another person. Okay, and I sure as hell don't want somebody doing that to me. So no, I'm not. You know, this is one of the reasons why I've said it before, and I made this statement to the community several times. This is one of the reasons why I'm shouting out to Donald Trump. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Okay, I'm not letting people sit here and no one's going to sit here and say, "Oh, that's my girlfriend," and therefore I'm going to go ahead and take control over her stuff or whatever. I would never authorize anybody. Okay, and what bothers me so much about this is, like, you know, like I said, I'm not a gold digger at all. I don't believe in it. I would never do it myself. Okay, what people want to do with their own life, that's their choice. That's my choice to not be a gold digger. Okay, but what disgusts me so much about Elon Musk is I've made this statement before. Okay, about, you know, digging for gold and people using me for my resources or whatever, and then I find out that my Swan Song manifesto has been used by him. Okay, that's like, okay, a lot of times when men or women or a gold digger is trying to use somebody for their money, they'll at least sit there and, like, you know, try to play the game, like, you know, buy you flowers or something. These people, they're not even trying anymore. They're not even trying to pretend. They're just going straight for the gusto. You know what I mean? It's like, how much of a gold digger could you be? Get your fucking hands out of my pocket and stay out of it. Okay? And people need to understand, you know, I'm not going to let anyone do that. Okay? I don't believe in getting married for money or anything else. I believe in self sufficiency. And anybody who says that they're connected to me is a goddamn liar. Excuse me. They're a liar. Okay? This chick flies solo. And I always will. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is a lot of people now understand, yes, this is a story of me and my father, James Calvin Gordon. We are obviously superior beings, okay, meaning we are highly intellectual beings. People have been jealous of us for many years, and they've created all kinds of lies to ostracize us, to create problems for us, to, you know, shun us and create and then stick us in this group with all these celebrity people. And yes, I do believe it's the same cabal that killed my father. I'm tired of this, people. Okay, they don't have any morals, they don't have any structures. I do look at the fact that they were clones is a big problem. Okay, because some of these people they lack empathy. Okay, and that's obvious. It's apparent. Okay, excuse my voice. It's obvious and apparent. All right, they lack empathy, and like I said, you know, yes, it is important to have a regular relationship with your mom, to be held by your mom, possibly breastfed by your mom, if you can do that sort of stuff. To have this sort of true maternal bond with a child is important. Otherwise, you're opening yourself up to creating monsters, and this is an issue that I feel with clones. I was not happy to find out I was a clone. Okay, like I said, I don't relate to that world. I don't want anything to do with it. Anyway, I am single forever and ever and ever, and I do believe that CB Berganza, even though he may not have fully understood the cloning network, he certainly understood that he was around a bunch of fake people. Okay, so it's not okay. I'm making this very clear. Like, when I was younger, I used to listen to romantic songs about, you know, there's this one Motown song. It's about falling in love, them getting married, having a little house out in the country, having children, and all this other stuff. And that's sweet. That's enduring. Why in the world would I be opposed to anything like that? I am not opposed to anything like that whatsoever. I am opposed to the money grubbing, the using other people for their financial resources, This is what I'm opposed to. Okay, and then that stuff runs rampant. Okay, and I'm sure that Stevie Berganza, when I was him at that time, recognized I was dealing with a lot of insincere people, people who just wanted stuff from me, and this is my issue. Okay, and it's probably always been my issue. Okay, I have nothing against people who want to raise families or anything like that. I have everything against people trying to use me for my financial resources, and I'm pretty sure C.B. Berganza had a very high standard of wanting to be around sincere people, and I will tell you, you're not going to find it within this group of people. So anyway, yeah, onto the library today. After lunch, I'm headed to the library. I want to work on my commercial. Then also, I need to build a list of people to contact. Okay, I am so I have to create a contact list. Okay, so I need to look up companies that relate to like the certain industries. I'm also reaching out to other industries too. Like I said, human trafficking needs to be trained on a bunch of other industries as well. And I will put my link in the description box later. Okay, and if like I said, I could use as many connections as I possibly can on Twitter. So if you're a business owner, later on when I do announce my opening of my company formally, I would encourage you to connect. If you are a targeted individual, I encourage you to connect. If you're somebody who has been mentally, financially, or some other way abused by working a corporate job, I would be very grateful for you to connect with me. There's so many people that I could connect to on this issue because of a lot of people who suffer because of their workplace. Okay, and there's a lot of workplace violations that occur and are very political. Gordon's occupational engineering is not meant to be political, meaning like I just want to work. Okay, if Gordon Occupational Engineering by somehow, some means became big enough to where I had to hire employees, I would hire employees based on how it's supposed to be hired. You know what I mean? I would only hire people who were driven people. Okay, driven people who really want to take hold of their careers and look at it as a career. See, the corporate structure, like with bosses like Steve Murray and Rex Laverne and this bullshit that was going on with their cloning mills and everything else, there was no way in the world you could feel happy about going to work every day, dealing with that sort of agenda. Okay, I feel like work needs to be focused on producing good work, focusing on sales of your product or service, for focusing on company excellence, truly. Okay, not giving people jobs because it's a punishment or whatever, actually creating something that's lucrative. That's what it is. Okay, I'm tired of dealing with the drama. So these are the sort of people that I want to work with. Okay, I want to work with real people who have real goals. Okay, I'm tired of dealing with the drama. I hate it. You know what I mean? And the reason why it became crazy is because, like I said, there's so many misguided people. And anytime you, unfortunately, include celebrities, you're dealing with a lot of ignorance people. Okay, what other thing that I want to say? Apparently, people have been interviewed about me. I think there's people. I don't know how all this works. And like I said, I don't ever see news reels about it. I'm just getting intuitive messages. There's certain people who have been interviewed about me, and people are acknowledging the fact that I am known as an occultist, and that my contributions to the New Thought movement did actually occur in my past life. As a carryover as Maria Gordon, I still believe in those things, okay? And yes, I'm going to be single forever, not out of an act of defiance. It's an act of protection. I'm not dealing with insincere gold diggers, okay? And I think a lot of people misunderstood me when I first said that. Like when, because people look at you, that like you're dressed up nice and you say you don't want to get married, right? And a lot of people believe, oh, well, you're getting dressed up as you look attractive. That means that you want to attract male attention. No, I want to enjoy my paisley prints. I want to, because those are the only things they are to enjoy. It's that simple. Okay, really. And people always think it has something to do with it. It does not. If it attracts male attention, I guess that could be a good thing. I'll tell you why. If by mere chance I was, and there was somebody sincere, which I seriously doubt, okay, if there was, then that would be great. Then, I'm ready to go then. Then I guess I met Mr. Cute Guy, and then I guess I'm ready to go. Then we can have a great time together. But that's not the case. The case is that I love paisley print. I love plaids. I'm looking forward to the fall this year. You know why? Because I'm drooling over the plaid. Okay, and it's these things that help me get up in the morning. It is. I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. Okay, when they were trying to force the uniform thing onto me, and I'm being honest, this is my true feeling. I realized what was going on in the workplace, not just the one I was working at. It was no longer worth it to me to wake up in the morning to go to a job anymore. Okay, the only thing that makes it worth it to me is what I put into it. That's it. It is no longer worth it to me, and I think a lot of people feel that way. Okay, because businesses are not being run right. Okay, the only thing I care about are my little office supplies, my knickknacks, my cute clothes, and everything else is going to have to come together. Because there's nothing that corporate has to offer, and a lot of this, the message I'm getting right now, is it has something to do with the celebrities being brainwashed. Okay, so the celebrities, I'm sorry, celebrities do not belong in decision making issues. Okay, I'm maybe there might be, a diamond in the rough to where we have a decent celebrity that could come up with good ideas, but the majority of these people have been treated basically like circus personnel. Okay, and I would say that Elon Musk is a good example of that. They do not come up with good ideas. The reason why is because they were never put in that sort of environment. So it was a bad idea for people to take their advice. And the reason why they took their advice is because they were impressed with their name. They were impressed with their status. Okay, and I'm somebody, you got to have a little bit more than that in order to get things moving with me. Okay. Yes, I am single forever. It is not a tragedy. Okay. What is tragic is that these people ran over my life. That's what. Okay, so anyway, it's getting late in the day. I felt like I needed to come here and talk about what was on my mind because I feel as though I was touched with evil. Meaning, like, because I was, forced to interact with these celebrity people, that my life took a turn for the worse. Like, and the effects I'm still feeling. Okay, and if you ever encounter something to where you still feel the effects long after it's happened, okay, let me tell you something. That's usually you're dealing with demonic stuff, okay? Okay, and a lot of people have thought that, yeah, when it comes to a lot of that demonic type stuff is yeah, I would say that's the group of people that you're looking at. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video. I've got things to do. I'm trying to get in the right mood, and a lot of it has to do with my mood. Okay, and I am tired of being affected by this. I hope that no one else is ever going to be a victim of human trafficking. I hope that people, and I get the intuitive message that Bakersfield has a struggle. They really struggle with human trafficking. You know what I mean? And it could be because they're such a low graded community, and they might rely on human trafficking because they do not have any other way. Like, they might be ignorant and they don't have any other way. I don't know what it is, okay? But I'm letting Donald Trump know that I'm doing what I can to wrap up my issue here in Bakersfield, and I want to get out as soon as possible. I'm going to wrap up this video, and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.